Hello, America, and to our friends around the world, greetings and welcome back. This one is going to cover one of Dr. Paul Ekman's 7 universal emotions that he discovered when he first began his research, which later came about with the results of microexpressions and the action units and the FACS, the facial action coding system. On Chase Hughes's Ellipsis behavioral table of elements, which, as I was checking YouTube, as of today, the 25th of February, Joe Rogan had Chase Hughes on for nearly 3 hours. So I'm looking forward to checking that out to see if any conversation comes up with his ellipsis behavioral table of elements model. Contempt is the last of the 7 that Dr. Ekman put out there. It was originally 6, but then later he added contempt. And contempt is unique. Contempt is what's considered a unilateral or maybe even a asymmetrical facial expression. What that represents is if you took that index card and divided the face from the top of the head through the nose down to the chin into a right half, left half, and masked off one half with your index card, you would be able to see contempt displayed on one side or the other. It's not across the face, for example, as is happiness or anger or disgust. It is just on one portion of the face, and it is quite evident specifically around the mouth. Let's take a look at the microexpression training. These videos take a moment to begin, but they're not long. These
Contempt
videos
is
that
the
I've
only
included are
unilateral
less than a
facial
minute. And there
expression,
you can see
where
on the
all
left
the action
side
is on one side
the
of the
change in the
face.
face, in the mouth. That is what you're looking for with the display of contempt. What makes contempt valuable is that Professor Emeritus from University of Washington, John Gottman, developed a series of questions and being able to analyze the results. One of the things that came up was when couples came in, Professor Gottman was able to predict with over 90%, maybe 95% accuracy, which couples would be divorced within, 5 years or so, if not, even further out, based off of certain things. And contempt is one of those displays. It is a measure of, well, I mean, just it's in the word contempt. I have contempt for you. I don't respect you. I don't, your opinion, your actions, your successes matter not. When somebody is displaying contempt, it, it's essentially a disrespect, a hatred, a disavowing. If you're in a relationship, it doesn't matter if it's romantic, professional, family, social. If you're in a relationship and the people with whom you're interacting display evidence of contempt, be warned. They may not act violently against you, but they're definitely going to plot against you, either verbally or, in front of you or behind your back. These people are going to be character assassins. They're going to be reputation damagers. These people, no matter what you do, are never going to approve of anything you do. And it has more to do with them than it does with you. Maybe you are doing something wrong. Maybe you're a criminal or you've made bad life choices and they have contempt for those actions. If that is the case, do your self reflection and make your improvements. But if you are getting up and doing what it is that you need to keep yourself upright, take care of yourself, and not being a leech, a parasite to the community or society, then it's on them. All right, first up at the 1 o'clock on this chart, looking at contempt in the center, 1 o'clock is single wrap. Now, I pulled this clip as a demonstration of single wrap. If you look at single wrap, WP, it's closed and it states arm. But the video clip I'm going to show you shows the hand wrapped around the other hand in a closed gesture, which also includes tapping. Don't get distracted with the tapping aspect. That isn't fully, it doesn't have to be included. Just the action of single wrap would be a conflicting behavior. All right, so you got the video of the demonstration of a single wrap that can be done around the hand, around the wrist, around the forearm. Now moving downward is, contempt is expressed on the face, and hence the color key code demonstrates that it is a facial expression. Moving over to the 8 o'clock position on the clock, well, actually just beneath it, because there isn't any, I didn't include microphysiological. The amplifying gesture is a teeth suck and a chin thrust. The confirming gesture is orbit tension or jaw clench. Those abbreviations are on the contempt element card, and I have the arrows pointing to their respective cards. It can be found on the behavioral table of elements. Now, going back to the 5 o'clock portion of the contempt card, DNL, deception not likely. The reason that deception is not likely is because their face is telling you exactly what it is that they're feeling. Maybe even more directly what they're thinking, but definitely what they're feeling, and that is the emotion of contempt. The variable factor up at the 1 o'clock in the top right corner of 1, and the DRS rating of 1, shows that they're both reasonably, one is reasonably stable and the other one is a reasonably low rate of deception. And approximately the 2 o'clock position, the 2 U's for universal, it's universal cultural, cultural prevalence, and between men, women, boys, and girls, it's universal. I don't recall which book of Malcolm Gladwell that documented Professor Gottman's research, but if you have questions more about how Gottman developed his battery of prediction and what went into it, you can look into Malcolm Gladwell's book that he profiled at a short section about it, as well as Professor Gottman, still alive, Professor Emeritus of University of Washington, and look into him and what it was that how he came to develop it and what goes into that, so that you can better vet not only a potential romantic prospect, but also just professional and social interactions. I want to go over this last point on breath rate from another video that I covered on breath rate. At the bottom, the DRS is V1.0 slash 3.5. That represents that it's a variable, meaning to tie into the video that discusses breath rate, there are a lot of factors, physiological factors, stress factors, and the medical history, activity level, one's stamina that go into breath rate. It is imperative to establish a baseline with breath rate, which is the reason it's variable from 1 to 3.5. Knowing what the baseline is, knowing what was the cause in the change of baseline is imperative for an accurate assessment of breath rate. I don't know if I made that clear in the previous video on breath rate. That's the reason I'm including it here. Good luck. Any questions, leave them in the comments. See you in the next video.